when you are in that position, you do come up with another idea. And that's the true entrepreneurial spirit, I think.
Welcome back to Winning the Game of Life. I'm your host, Shawn Chhabra. Today I'm featuring a very, very special lady. She's all the way from Australia. Her name is Belinda Coker, and she is an accomplished designer, manufacturer, and international marketer. She assists entrepreneurs and startups like in negotiating the manufacturing in China and Taiwan. Welcome to the show, Belinda.
Thank you, Shawn. Thank you for having me on the show. It's a pleasure.
Okay, how about you introduce a little bit more about you, because I didn't really tell anything about you.
Sure. Okay, so Shawn, I'm a woman who's passionate about my business, and I'm lucky enough to work the hours I want to, I earn enough to sustain the lifestyle I choose, and I spend the time with the people who are the most important in my life, which for me right now are my 3 children. I travel a lot with my children. I'm passionate about community and philanthropy, and I try to teach my children the importance of this and how lucky they are. Actually, when my children each of my children turn 14, I take them to a third world country and we work in an orphanage for a week. And my middle daughter is actually up next, and we're going to India we're off to India, and it gives them a sense of how lucky they are, which a lot of children right now, in this day and age, they don't actually realize how blessed they are. So I love my work, and I've managed to single out the work that I'm good at and license out all the tedious bits which don't excite me.
I'm so excited to jump to the wording, the line you said about the children sending to the third world country so that they stay grounded. And most of the people born in like a North America or Australia or all the rich places or Europe, they are not exposed to anything. They think like everything is for granted and everything is instant gratification, and I don't think they value whatever they have. So I'm honored to hear. I'm so happy to hear that from you, because I believe in that. I like my kids also sometimes go to South America and some of the places.
Yeah, it's so important for children to have a sense of it's not all about me, and this is one of my things at the moment is that we have the iPad, we have the iPhone, and with this marketing, everything is I. I think there's a car called an iCar. There's and it's all about me, and this is what our world has become now. And I think it's so important to teach people that it's not all about them. We're called to be to have stewardship of this planet, and this also means not only the planet, but it also means the other people in the planet. And children nowadays, I feel, really don't have a sense of there are other people in the world.
Very nice. And now I would like to jump back to you really live and belong to Australia, or you travel around, or you have ever been in America and all these places?
Well, with my company Envirosax, I had offices in America, Berlin, Hong Kong, and the UK. So I used to do a lot of traveling, but over the last year or 2 years, I've stopped traveling so much for business, only because I need to spend that time with my children. My son has just completed high school last month, and my two daughters, they're coming up to 13 years old. So all of my children are at a critical time in their lives where they really need me 100%. And sometimes you have to make a choice. And what I've done is I've put staff who can do the work for me, good staff who can do the work for me, and that's something that I've actually learned to do, is to work on the business, not in the business.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you are the one who brought the environmental awareness about the reusing the bags. Is that true?
Yes, so back in 2004, I came up with the idea of a reusable bag. Yes, there were already reusable bags in the world, but I came up with the idea of one that would roll into a very small size, a very small packet, which so that people could actually take with them. Because at the time, the reusable bags which were there were quite bulky totes, and also, environmentalism wasn't really a corporate word back then, and it was through I think the Envirosax that people really started to become quite aware of the necessity for the use of reusable bags.
So what happened to that company? Do you still own that?
Yes, I own the brand. And I've licensed out the brand now, and I've licensed out the brand, and I still design. At the moment, I'm finalizing all the spring summer 2016 designs, and I still produce. So that's actually one of my aha moments, was to actually get to that stage.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask. It was such a big project and you started probably from nothing. How you even came up with that idea, and how you really pursued, or how you had the courage to even take that many steps. That was not something like you just wake up one morning and next morning you already have something done.
Well, it came to me, Shawn, when I was looking down the barrel of going back into the corporate world, and I had 3 children. One of them, my eldest, was 5 at the time, and the other 2 were 18 months and under. So I was pretty much, I had a lot of I didn't have a lot of children. Some people have a lot more children than that. But in today's world, I did, 3 children is probably very normal in the West, and I didn't want to drop them off at daycare at 6 a.m. and pick them up at 6:30 p.m. and possibly even get to say goodnight to them. So I didn't want to be in that situation, and so I had to find a way I had to come up with some other idea. I had to come up with some other way of making an income which didn't include going back into the corporate world and working for somebody else. And that's probably what entrepreneurs are very good at, is to be able to say, right, okay, I no longer want to do this. I no longer want to work for somebody else. I'm going to do it myself. And when you are in a position where you don't really have a choice, then you really, really don't want to go and put 3 children in daycare. It probably would have been my whole salary. So when you are in that position, you do come up with another idea. And that's the true entrepreneurial spirit, I think.
Yes, well defined and well done. Congratulations for all the success,
Thank you.
So but I still cannot figure out how you grew so fast. What did you do special?
Well, basically, Shawn, I was in the right place at the right time. I bought out a product which was in its infancy, and also the other thing is that at the time when I bought it out, blogs had only just started, and now we have, there's so many blogs out there. I don't know if anyone's ever bothered to count how many blogs there are, but back when we first started with Envirosax, there were only a few, and they were really mommy blogs. And so mothers or people, there were some fashion blogs as well, but they weren't as, the array of topics wasn't out as there that it is now. And so what happened is we started to target the blogs, and that is how our product suddenly mushroomed. So it was through in another infancy of social media, which was blogs.
Okay, so you sold the company or like a brand, not the company, but the brand, you started branding like about 10 years back, right?
Yes. When I got the idea for Envirosax, it was about 2004, but it wasn't until about 2006, 2007, 2008 that we really started growing and expanding into the 60 countries that we ended up in.
Okay, how about like a fast forward? What's your new consulting company? Let us jump into that.
Yeah, sure. So how that came, I'd like to tell you how that came about, because in a lot of business people, people have a business, sometimes they can get into a situation where they suddenly find themselves not really enjoying what they're doing. And for me, I had brought Envirosax up to its success of all those countries, and I had 4 offices worldwide, and I came to the realization that I was no longer doing the parts of the business that I really enjoyed, which was overseeing production and designing. And that was actually how I started the company. So I sat there and I thought, I'm no longer happy doing what I'm doing. I've become somebody I don't like, and so I had a real aha moment. And at the same time, I had a lot of people come to me and say, you manufacture in China. How do you do it? I want to manufacture this, that, or the other. Can you explain to me how to do it? So organically, I started Beluco Consulting. It wasn't called Beluco Consulting back then. I was just doing it off the side. And I started to assist people manufacturing in China using my staff who were already based in Shanghai. And then it came to a time where I thought, right, okay, the best thing for me to do is to exit the company and keep the brand and do what I enjoy doing best, which is production. And I licensed out all the other parts, which is the sales, the administration, the HR, and all that sort of thing. And I kept the part of the job that I enjoy. And I think there's a saying there that you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, just don't throw it all away, because there are some good parts about what you have done.
Yeah, not only that, you're enjoying what you're doing, but at the same time, you're able to use all the resources, all the offices, and all the relationship, and all the people
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes that the relationships that you have built, especially over a period of 10 years, they can be invaluable. And yeah.
So do you have a lot of clients in America?
Most of my clients are actually in America. Reason being, I don't know why, but I think one of the reasons why a lot of my clients are in America is, one, because it's a very large country and there's a lot of opportunity there, but also there's a time difference between America and China is almost exactly opposite. Now, so for example, if a factory has to make a snap decision they need an urgent decision on, say, a Pantone color for a particular plastic, or they need a decision on a swing tag or anything like that. I mean, those are just small examples, but sometimes they can be much larger examples. They can't get an answer straight away in America because those people are asleep. And so what we do is we become people's eyes and ears on the ground in China.
Yes, I can relate with that, because we also do a lot of business with China. We are like a wholesale computer parts business here in America. So I see a lot of time, like if I'm dealing personally, or my wife is dealing, or other staff is dealing, sometimes there's so much communication gap, and turnaround time is at least 48 hours. So everything get delayed.
Exactly. And sometimes, just say that 48 hours for a delay could mean a huge delay in your factory exit time.
Mm-hmm.
You might lose your spot in a production line because of it, and the problems with the time delay can be very harsh on your productivity.
Okay, so a lot of my listeners and viewers are like a women entrepreneur, small business, some are about to start the business, and I don't know what percentage of those are like in import business or getting manufactured from China. Do you really recommend from small businesses like to start getting directly things from China? Because a lot of those may be buying things from the importers in California, New York, Chicago, and all those big places.
Well, there's a lot of profit to be made by getting items directly from China, but we do have to be careful about it. And this is where a lot of people fall down, is they go to sites such as Alibaba.com or MadeInChina.com, and a lot of the times when people do that, they're actually dealing with an agent and not with the factory themselves, not with the factory directly. And it's all about relationships. When you've got a relationship with the factory, your chances of quality control, of good quality product exiting a factory on time is far greater than if you have no relationship with the factory. The other thing is that it's far easier to get a definite cost of a product. If you're dealing with an agent or someone through Alibaba.com or MadeInChina.com, then you'll find that there'll be a lot of increased costs that you didn't anticipate when you finally get your product, and a lot of people fall short there. So I think it's very important that if you are going to start manufacturing in China, that you cross T's and dot I's. And I actually have a blog which is on my website, which is Manufacturing in China 101, or I think it's Outsourcing in China 101, I think I've called it. And I'm going through each and every step of how to manufacture in China, and it's doable. And it can be very profitable, but a lot of people fall down because they don't cross their T's and dot their I's, or they don't have a good understanding of what you need to do to cross the T's and dot the I's.
Yeah, like due diligence is very important, but because even a lot of time I'm trying to import, let us say, some equipment. For example, let us say these two-wheeler scooters. These days they're very hot this Christmas, like a self-balancing little scooters. So let us say I'm working with the factory tonight, and they will say, oh, Shawn, we'll put LG cell or Samsung cells, the battery pack will have that. So I had to ask them a question, they will be counterfeit or real?
Yeah.
But you being there, you knowing the culture and having those kind of relationship, you will ask those kind of questions, or I have the experience, that's why I ask those questions. But the average importer, new business will not even, how somebody will imagine to ask like, oh my God, I didn't ask you this question.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just asking the right question, Shawn. It's also it's also the communication. And I actually have an ebook on my site which is free and it's downloadable. And one of the points in the ebook, it's the 5 top tips of quality control. But one of the major points that I make is when you are communicating with a factory, that you don't have that all your instructions are clear and concise. And a lot of the problems that we see come because somebody will email the factory and there will be probably about 20 emails, and each email has about 3 long paragraphs. You've already lost them in the first paragraph, and it's in the first email and the first paragraph, because their language is pictorial. So with each Chinese character actually means a word. It's not an alphabetical language like ourselves. So what will normally happen is that your information that you are sending to a Chinese factory will be cut and copied and pasted into an app, a translation app. But the problem is that sites such as Google Translation, or Google, I think it's called, or sites such as Google, etc. Most of those sites are banned in China. So more often than not, or probably 100% of the time, the app that the factory manager will use will be a Chinese app, and therefore you've lost the translation straight away. So I always tell people when they're dealing with China to use bullet points and make it very simple. And it's not because, it's not that Chinese people, they're not stupid, far from it, But, most of these factory managers have got extremely qualified, they've got great degrees. But it's the language, and it's having an understanding that there are differences in language.
Yes, clarity of communication is very important. Most of the time I just draw the pictures and then just put the arrow, read this, point number 1, read this, point number 2, and I just tell them just to look at that.
Yeah, exactly. And Stitch is always good for that as well. So I actually use Sketch. Sketch it is, not Stitch.
Sketch.
I use Sketch a lot, but I use that with my outsourcers, with my freelancers, with lots of people. I use Sketch a lot.
I mean, that's how human brain is made or designed. Like you literally, brain is taking everything as image.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
So you're trying to scare my listeners and viewers, or what?
No. What I'm trying to say is that if you are going to manufacture in China, that it is doable, and don't be scared to manufacture in China. But just be aware there's a few simple rules, and you can download that from my website. So it's very, very it's very simple.
Okay. Personally, with having all my import experiences and export experiences, I will recommend everyone to find someone as good as you or your company. And if they cannot afford your company or any agent in the beginning, and they are not really looking for any new design or manufacturing, let us say they're interested to import some standard product, which really they don't need to design. Maybe they just want to rebrand or something.
Okay, so a white label product that they just want to put their own brand on. Well, even then, you still need to do your quality control. And I'll be quite honest with you, Shawn, our charges are not that high in comparison to the savings that a lot of people make. And a lot of our customers are selling on Amazon.com and those sorts of sites, and they receive all this product that they want to ship out in time for Christmas, and they just haven't done the correct quality control. It doesn't matter if it's a white label product, whatever you're making, you still need to do the quality control. And also the other thing is what we do is we do the negotiating for the customers as well, and often we would save the same amount of money that people would pay. People would pay us far less than what they would save if they had to do it themselves. I've had so many people that have just lost thousands because product that they just can't sell. So
there are so many nightmare stories. I don't want to scare that much. Okay.
And I have a lot of staff on the ground in China now, and my production manager is actually Australian. He's been with me since the first sampling of Envirosax. So he's been with me since 2004, and he's been in production for about 40 years. So he is my right-hand man, and it's good to have a Westerner on the ground over there.
So maybe some of my listeners and viewers are like in like a similar business than you are. Do you think they can somehow sell your services here? Do you have any program like that?
I'm sorry, Shawn. Can you repeat that?
In this example, let us say I want to find some of the companies who are looking for an agent. So do you
Yeah.
have any affiliate program like where some of the businesses or trading services from America bring you the business and then you deal with them?
No, I don't, but that's something that I would be, very open to. At the moment, we're word of mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
And purely word of mouth, and we're growing sustainably. So it's to have recommendations, to have word of mouth recommendations for us. That's the best accolade somebody can give us. When somebody says use Beluco, they're brilliant. They did a great job for us. I mean, how good is that? I mean,
Yes.
so.
Oh, I see you shining, so that means you are so proud of that.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So where should we lead it now? Come on, my listeners and viewers are like still hungry for more knowledge. Is there anything else like you want to talk, like my listeners and viewers who are small business here, how else they can like learn something from you?
Right. Okay. Well, I suppose the one thing that if you are wanting to produce in China, then please go onto my website and please email me if you have any questions. Email me because I'm quite open to talking with people about any ideas that they might have. For example, one lady came to me the other day. She's got this great idea for a product, and we chatted about it, and she went away quite happy that she had that it was something which will probably work. I think that one of the things, as someone who has had the success that I have, it's really important that I can share that with other people. And a lot of people put themselves up on a pedestal, and they're sort of almost untouchable, and that's not right because we're here to help each other.
Well, you have seen all the success. One of the quality I have seen in all successful people is they're so open. You will share everything. What people can take from you, they can take, but they cannot steal from you. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody can take your experience. Nobody can see, oh my God, she did this, let me do this. Okay, do that, learn, get inspired. Yeah. That's the purpose of this show.
Yeah,
exactly. But I still have a kind of question, like if I have a fresh design for something here, I come to you or go to China one way or another, and if I really trust in that design and I think it's going to be a super hit product, I'm always worried like they are going to steal my idea, and before it comes to me, it will be sold to somebody else.
Okay, well, that's when your relationship with your factory is so important, and it's actually called the relationship in China. A good relationship is called guanxi, and it's so important. And you would probably know this with the factories that you've dealt with. So, if you have good guanxi with your factory will do anything to keep your business and to also keep your business safe from any competitors. So. Having a relationship with the factory is important. Now, it's not possible for a lot of people to travel to China, and that's when they can use people like us to actually help build that relationship. How we work is slightly different to other people because we introduce the factory to the customer. So, for example, Shawn, if you wanted to make iPhone cases, I'm just using iPhone cases. And I always use this as an example because it's sitting right next to me. But I would say, right, Shawn, okay, this is Mr. Wong. Mr. Wong is the iPhone case factory manager that we found for you. And just to let you know, a factory manager is usually the factory owner. The factory manager is kind of like the top dog. So the titles are slightly different than what they are in the USA. And so what we'll do is we introduce, so already you have ownership, already you have, you can start a relationship with the factory manager. And then we have what's known as a maintenance agreement where we maintain the quality of your product by doing quality control and meeting your factory manager, and we become you in China. And that's the the difference. But in terms of IP, Chinese won't really copy a design until they can see that there's money made from it. So if you've got a great design, say for an iPhone case, just pretend there's no iPhone cases, haven't been invented yet, and you come up with this idea of iPhone cases. It's not until it's actually making money will Chinese sit up and take notice. So if you've got a great idea, yes, you can patent it, and yes, you can, do the trademarking and all that sort of thing. But the reality is that it probably will get copied somewhere down the track. Now, let's take Envirosax, for example. I think Envirosax has been copied more than any other product in the world, and I take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
If you're first there, then if you're first on the if you're the first cab on the rank to actually get a product out there, which is a new product, then you can probably be rest assured that your product will be the first in everybody's mind. But a bit like the Xerox of photocopying.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, like we are very close to end of the show, but I still have a question I must ask. Like in import-export, the payment is always a problem. They may not take letter of credit. They want a lot of money upfront as a wire transfer. How that works?
Okay, so basically what happens is that a factory will require at least 50%. Now, and if they ask for any more, I would definitely not give them any more. There's no reason for them to have any more because they take enough to cover their raw materials. Now, and then the remainder payment is given to them after you've done a quality control check, and that's when the goods are handed over to you by way of bill of lading. So usually when you order something from China, it's FOB, which means that the goods have cleared export customs in China, and they're actually put on the boat. So your goods are in the container on the boat, and that's when ownership of the goods can take place.
Yeah, for example, like a couple of days back, I was trying to buy a container load of, I was telling you, those self-balancing scooters. And it's a new factory. I negotiated, I talked, and I found at least there are like 20 big companies in America buying their product under their brand name. I ordered a few samples, checked them out. So they said like it's about 700 pieces in 10-foot container. So give me 30% down and 70% when the product is ready for shipping. But they expect, like, ready for shipping means the minute they're putting in the boxes, it's ready to load the container. They say, now wire transfer me the 70% the balance. So I already have enough experience, but I'm trying to ask this question for my listeners and viewers. So at that point, they should like worry about that, like, oh my God, if I wire transfer the rest of the 70%, I have prepaid 100% of the money. And I don't know they will ship or not, or what will happen to my product.
That is a risk, but a lot of factories will not let their goods exit the factory until you have paid in full. But, however, that's when you really need to make sure that the goods are ready to exit the factory. And that's when it comes to the relationship. I mean, you've had a lot of experience in China, so you probably would have spent a little bit of time building a relationship with the factory prior to getting the goods. And you can kind of get a feel for it as well. Like ask for, if you haven't got anybody going in to do quality control, ask to see photos. I want to see photos of all the boxes, all the cartons which are packed, or the inners and the outers. And by inners and outers, I mean an outer is the big brown box, and inside might be 4 boxes of these the colourful boxes that go on the shelves. So that's an inner, and the big brown box is the outer. But ask to see them. Ask to see photos of these boxes open and the goods inside the boxes, so that you know that the goods are actually ready to send. And also you get to see a packing list. You can ask to see a copy of the bill of lading. You can ask to see a lot of documentation that will prove that those goods are actually going to exit the factory and get on the boat.
I think I'll recommend them to talk to you. I mean, for a new business, this is too much due diligence. There are so many places they can miss something, and things can go wrong.
Yeah, there are, but I mean, there are other people like us, but we consider ourselves, we're a boutique company, and we look after our customers, and we like to be our customer on the ground in China, and that is so important.
So for my American listeners, like, you are available, like what working hour, like a Chinese working hour, Australian or American, or how they can reach you or your staff?
Okay, well, I have a scheduler on my website, and I actually I'm up at 5 a.m. So I can be reached very early for the Chinese, for the American customers. But the best way to contact me is to either to make an appointment via the scheduler, or just contact me through the website, and let's start a conversation that way, and we can talk about a time that might suit you. Unfortunately, I am on another time zone than America, but I'm also very flexible. I live in a tropical climate that doesn't have daylight savings, so it's actually gets light for me now at 3:45 in the morning. So, I'm awake very early.
Okay, very good. Like, I will put all your links and all the information on the website and on YouTube and on all the podcast websites, and hopefully, like, a lot of people who are in import business or who want to get into that, at least they will get some inspiration and direction from you, and hopefully you will also help my new clients.
Yeah, no, I'm really wanting to. That's one of our mottos of our one of the ethos of our company is to actually help people, and it's basically we help people negotiate manufacturing in China, because without to do it by themselves is very difficult, and I hate seeing people in tears. I want to see everyone succeed, and that's what we do.
Yeah, I mean, money, you have made enough money, I guess. Like, money may not be the only motivator you're doing. You are up at this time and I'm up at this time, we are talking about this. I'm sure you're enjoying as much as I'm enjoying it. So
yeah. No, money should never be your main motivator. You should do something because you love it, or because it's helping other people.
Money is the byproduct. It will follow if you do all those good things.
Exactly. Yeah, you reap what you sow.
Yeah. So it has been very inspirational, and unfortunately we are to the end of the show. Is there any last minute advice for my listeners and viewers?
I would say, the world is not about you. or I. It's not about, us as a selfish being. And we are called to, and this is a repeat of what I said before, that we are called to take stewardship of the planet and its people. And we need to think more about others. That's what I wanted. That's my parting advice.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll talk soon again. Hopefully I'll invite you again and you will be able to come back. Let us see. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shawn. It was lovely to speak with you.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
LaptopUniverse.com CEO Indu Chhabra announced the launch of BuybackQueen.com. This newly launched reverse e-commerce website buys back used old electronics, old iPhones, iPads, and all other smart devices directly from the consumers. You should not throw your old phone away because your trash may be hitting gold. Buyback Queen wants your old device and will pay top dollars for it. The process is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Fast payment, free shipping, free data wipe, risk-free transaction. Let us make the world a cleaner place and make money by selling our device on buybackqueen.com.